Hopefully you understand what I mean. So if you have a company and your terms of conditions is like 5 years old or 6 years old, 4 years old, you have a problem.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief.
Okay, and we are live. I think the sound is okay. That's good. Yes, this is the first time that I'm doing this. I'm gonna review some terms of condition, and the highlights of these videos will be placed on YouTube. YouTube channel is just Martisz Legal. We're gonna start with an big company. Their terms of condition. We're gonna look at it, and I'm gonna tell you some things which you need to keep in mind when you look at terms of condition. It depends what kind of term of condition it is and in what kind of situation you are. So the big company is, in this case, Apple. Apple has a lot of terms of condition. A lot of people do not know that. They just know as soon as they create an Apple account, they only accept one term of condition. But the thing is, on the Apple's website, you see a lot of terms of conditions. So we're not going to look at all of those terms of condition. We're just going to look at the main one. Good term of condition, yeah, one of the important ones. And the thing is, when you look at term condition, it's also important to know which country you're from, because if you're from Europe, there are different rules than in Asia or in the US. So Apple also has different kind of terms of condition. So, for example, if you buy something in the Apple Store from the US is way different than the one in the let's say in the UK or in Europe or the one in Asia. So it's important to look at the term of condition, and it's also important to see, okay, what can they do and what can you do in certain kind of situation. So in this video, I'm going to show you some tricks that you need to know when you look at some terms of condition. If you have questions, put it in the comment. I'm streaming now on a new program. Hopefully I will show the comments. This is the first time streaming on Twitch, so yeah. And yeah, if you have questions, put it. I will try to look at the question and answer it as soon as possible. But first thing first, let's look at the terms of condition. I download this term of condition as a PDF because I want to put some notation in the PDF. If you want to download the PDF, or if you have a question after the stream, just go on the Discord. We have a Discord, and on the Discord you can ask me question about these things and other things. So first thing first, let's look at the document, and then I'm going to explain to you what kind of terms condition are and why it's important to look for the term condition for your country, and then we're going to discuss some things in the term of condition. Okay, first thing first, the document. As you can see, this is the document here. Yeah, this is the whole document. The reason why I'm on the last page is because I want to show you I download it from the website itself. So this is the document, and this document, the PDF, you can download it from Apple website. So you just go to the terms, download it. But what important is you see here, Apple provides certain kind of services, and here you see the overview. That's not really important right now, but what important is these things. When you use a service of Apple, they call it product. When you see certain kind of service of Apple, you need to look at the terms of condition. For example, if I buy iTunes gift card, those gift card, when you look at it, you see there are different kind of terms of condition for those type of things of Apple, if you understand what I mean. But if I'm using iCloud, you see here also there are different kind of terms of condition. So when you use Apple, most of the time you use all those things combined. As soon as you create an account, you give Apple permission that, okay, I create this account, I also accept the terms of condition. So when you start using iCloud, you accept the terms of condition, and that's how it goes. Another thing is, if you buy iTunes gift card, you also accept the terms of condition. So what we are going to do right now is we're going to look at the terms of condition. One of this important, and it's Apple Media Service terms of condition. And the thing is, this is one of the important one because it's connected with a lot of terms of condition of Apple. But what you need to keep in mind is when you look at the term condition, look for the term condition in your country. When you want to download the term condition, Apple will ask you which country you're from. And when you tell Apple that, you can download the correct one. So make sure you download the correct one. If you do not know which term of condition apply in your situation, you can go to account, setting, and there you will find terms of condition of privacy policy. I'm not going to do the privacy policy or all of those terms. In another video of another stream, I will talk more about the privacy policy and how you should look at it and how you can find out what companies are doing with your data. I will start first with big companies and then go down to smaller company. The reason why I'm doing that is because most of the time the privacy policy of a big company is correct. And if you look at small companies, most of the time they have some privacy policy, but those privacy policy is not something you want to look at. The reason why I'm saying that is they say this in the privacy policy, or the privacy policy is from the internet and they just copy and paste it. And the question is it true? And here, when you look at the privacy of terms of Apple, you see that it's modified every time. For example, if you see this privacy policy, last updated 16 September 2020. And if you look at some companies, when you look at this the privacy policy of terms of condition, last updated 2016. That's 4 years from 4 years ago. Some sites 2012, it'll be like 8 years ago. What did you do in a couple of 8 years? Did you change something? The rules about privacy changed. Why didn't you change something in your terms? And what you need to keep in mind is rules and law change every day, every year. So every year or every 2 years, it's important for a company to review the terms of condition and rewrite it or adjust it so it can meet the requirement of today's law, but also the customers. Because when you improve your company, you improve your services, but also the way how you do things. And the way how you do things, the improvement, you can put that in your terms of condition. So technically every 2 years, every 1 year, a company should review the terms of condition or their privacy policy. So what you need to keep in mind is if you're a consumer, that means you buy things from Apple and you're not doing business with Apple, most of the people are, you need to look at the terms of condition. In some country, you have some legal rules, some laws that says that there's certain kind of, let's say, things Apple cannot put into terms of condition. And Apple will put it because people do not take action or people do not know about it. And when someone read the terms of condition, they assume everything is okay. But most of the time it isn't, because some local law will force Apple to remove some things in the terms of condition. But most people do not know about that. I'm not going to discuss all those things. If I see one, I will explain what I mean. But if I don't see one, sorry about that, I cannot give you an example right now. But maybe in the future, when we have different kind of terms of condition and the situation meets the requirements, or situation meet the requirements, in order to show you the example, I will show you the example and explain what can and what cannot. Hopefully you understand. So in this stream, let me change my camera so you can let me put it here. It's much better. Yeah. So hopefully you understand there are terms and you need to figure out which country you're from and look at those terms. And Apple did its best in order to translate every terms in the language where they operate. That's what you expect from a multinational. And if I talk about multinational, that means big companies that you can find them in almost every country. Example, Apple, Microsoft, McDonald's, Starbucks, all those things you can find it in almost every country. So those are multinational. Okay, let me drink some water and then we'll go up. So let's go up. The thing is, last year in December, I look at these terms and I highlight some things. in the terms. And what important right now is there's something you need to understand. During this video, I will go back to the situation so you can understand. And if you understand this, you know what to do in the kind of situation. Yeah. Let me explain that first, and then we will look at the terms of condition. So hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. And the thing is, I need to make sure next time I have a pencil. But okay, I'm gonna draw. Hopefully it's look well. But if it look well, sorry about that. I will try to get in a Wacom, that's how you call it, and drawing, so I can draw here and you can see it. But for now, I have to do it with this touchpad. What you need to remember is, this is you, let's say a person. Apple is a company, let's call it a company, and you use their platform. Their platform is a service. Simple, it's a service. As soon as you go on the platform, you create an account. When you create an account, you need to accept terms of condition. So you create an account, they say, hey, when you create an account, you agree that you accept our terms of condition. And these things are the terms of condition. Yep. This company, the reason why I'm putting this separate will be later clear. But when you're on the platform, you're using their services. So they're giving you services, and you can use their platform. Sometimes you buy things on the platform, like gift card or games, whatever. You're using the services, you're buying the games, and you can play it. If you look here, as soon as you accept the terms, you have a contract with Apple. So you have a contract with Apple, an agreement. So you accept the agreement, so you accept the terms, so technically this is a contract. As soon as you press accept, you have a contract with Apple. Most people think terms of condition. I cannot do anything about terms of condition. No. Terms of condition are terms of condition. As soon as you accept them, you have a contract with Apple. That's simple. Do not make it complicated. You have just a contract with Apple. Doesn't matter who you are, you have a contract with Apple. There are some rules in your country that will forbid Apple from making certain kind of agreement in your contract. There are some rules that says, okay, Apple cannot stop you from going to the judge or taking action. For example, you have that rule in the Netherlands. Let me give you an example. We can make an agreement about anything. We can also agree, okay, you know what? If we have a problem with each other, we do not go to the judge. We need to solve this together. That rule, you cannot put it, Apple cannot put it in its terms of condition. There are some situations where you can put it. It also depends what kind of situation it is. But in this case, this is just to show you that there are some rules that you cannot put in the terms of condition. And if you put it in the terms of condition and it become part of an agreement, if you are you can destroy that agreement. What I mean by destroy the agreement, when you destroy the agreement, the things that you agree upon it's not valid, so they cannot use it. Hopefully you understand what I mean. So remember, this is a person, can also be a company. You have a contract with Apple, and the contract is formed through the agreement. So if you're using an iPhone and you have an Apple account or whatever from Apple, technically you have an agreement with Apple. What is the agreement about? What are the rules? You can find it in the terms. Now we got that out of the way, you will see it's important to look in the terms. What you need to remember is terms are important, but more important is the law, your local law. Just look at it. When you look at it, sometimes you will find some things that isn't valid. But there's something that you also need to keep in mind. Sometimes it's difficult to take action against Apple or other multinational because you don't have the resources. But there are also sometimes, let's say, companies that help consumers taking action against multinational because they want to make name. Understand? But that's for later video. For now, let's look at the basic and let's look what you can find in the terms of condition of Apple. Hopefully you understand this. If you have question in the comment, put it in the comment and I will try to answer it as soon as possible. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, everything is working. Okay. So this is Apple and the services. We're going to look at the terms of condition. As you can see, these are the terms of condition. You see Apple Media Service term of condition. It doesn't matter how you call a document. It doesn't matter if you call it terms of condition, term of service. Doesn't matter. As soon as the document meets the requirement of your local law, then it can be a term of condition. Doesn't matter how you call it. Same apply for a contract. If you have a contract, it doesn't matter how you employer call it or how someone call it. That doesn't matter. As long as it meets the requirements of law, then it's a contract. Doesn't matter how you call it. Yeah. So we see here Apple Media Service term of condition. Not interesting. When it's interesting, most of the time the title will help you connect the terms of services with the service that they're providing. Here you see this is a media service. If you look at the gift card, if you look down, let me go down. You see iCloud terms of services. So you know iCloud terms of services. So you know if I use iCloud, there are terms of services for iCloud. So the title can help you find the connect the service and the terms of service. That's simple. Sometimes you see company call it term of condition and term of service. Yeah, in this case, term of services, term of condition. It doesn't matter how you call it, as long as you meet the requirements. Every law, every country, they are different. They have some different rules. Apple, most of the time, the legal team will make sure that they meet the requirements, and sometimes they go too far, but a lot of people do not know about that. But it doesn't mean it's a bad company. It's just a company that provides service and they make profit of it. Something can be bad for you, but it can also be good for another company or for another person. It depends how you deal with it. If you understand this, you also look at the rules. Okay, these are the rules. How can I get the maximum benefits for me? You understand what I mean? So when you look at this, think about it. How can I find out things that I can use in order to get the best benefits for me? Let me give you an example. Let's say you are outside your country and you need to pay for something. But the problem is you're staying a long time outside the country, and the problem is in that country there are certain kind of apps that you want to use, but your iCloud is in America, or your iCloud is in Europe, or your iCloud is in Asia. You need to change it. And the problem when you change it is a lot of things disappear. So because you change from services, you change from another country service to another country service. So doesn't mean you will lose all your apps, but certain kind of apps you cannot use it anymore. So you need to buy a new one. The question is, imagine you want to go back and buy certain kind of things in the gift card from your home country or your country where you're from. Hopefully you understand what I mean. If you cannot follow this, tell me. Imagine you want to buy a gift card from your home country, but you are in another country. How can you get those gift cards? That's a problem that I was having. And the thing is, I ordered a gift card, so I made a mistake with ordering something. And Apple sent it to me. Luckily, I didn't open it yet. So I read the iTunes gift card, because you buy a gift card, and I bought the gift card from I think it was from the US, but my Apple account is from the Netherlands. So I bought it, and I was like, no, this is the wrong one, and I pay a lot for it. So I thought, you know what? Let me send it a message. But before sending a message, I read the gift card, terms of, let's say in this case, terms of and condition, and I saw some things that thought, okay, you know what? Just say this, this, and this, and in one day they gave me my money back, and the card wasn't valid anymore. Right? And I used my money to create to buy the correct one. So what can you learn from this? There are terms of condition. Do not think they are bad. Do not think they are there to protect the company. Yes, they are there to protect the company, but try to figure out how can you use those rules in your advantage. If you have a problem with the company, look at the terms of condition. What can you use in your advantage? If you do not know how to look at them, just ask. Just go on Discord, ask me. Sometimes I will look at it and be like, okay, this is what we can do and this is what we cannot do. I see a lot of people, they have problem with companies, but they just think, hey, I did something good, they did something bad. It doesn't work like that. What works is you accept something, you accept some kind of term of condition, you need to look at it and see, okay, how can I use this to get the most benefits for me? Hopefully you understand what I mean. Okay, I talked too much about that. There was a story behind it. So at that moment when that happened, I thought, okay, you know what? Sometimes it's better to show some people how they can look at certain kind of term of condition, and maybe they can get something out of it, and they can use it to get most benefits for themselves. So let's go up. This is the terms. I highlight some things that are really important. I did it 2 months ago, but I didn't have time to live stream this because I was busy making this setup so everything can go fine in this case. And this is the first one I'm doing for terms of condition. But let's look at the terms of condition. When you look at terms of condition, always think of a book. Yeah. A term of condition can be 1 of 2 of 3 pages, doesn't matter. In this case, this is in total I thought 14 pages. Let me watch just to be sure. Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter. I think it was 14, but I'm not sure. Yeah, but doesn't matter. But just think of a term of condition as a book. Every book has a structure. And when you look at the structure, you know what it's about. You know where you can find certain kind of rules. And if you watch a lot of terms of condition, you will see there's a certain kind of pattern. They start with definition, or if you see definition at the end of term of condition, you see liability, you see the product or services, you see they talk about what the services are, what you're seeing here right now, introduction to our services, all those things, they talk about that. Yeah. And what you need to know is, if you're looking for something, do not read the whole book. It's boring. Just press Command F or Control F and look for certain kind of words. For example, if I'm using iCloud and I'm looking for the terms of condition for our terms of condition about iCloud, I will type iCloud and see what I can find. If they talk about copyright and they talk about intellectual property, so intellectual property, copyright, trademark, or other things, I will look for those kind of works in the terms of condition. You can do this with every terms of condition. And when you do that, you'll find certain kind of rules, and you need to know, okay, this is the structure. I found this rule here. You need to look up what is the title or what's the subtitle. Yeah, so let me give you an example. If I'm looking up services and I see payment, taxes, and refund, interesting. This is interesting. So this means that if I pay something, they will explain how I can pay online and when do I pay. And they also talk about refund. How can I get refunds? And what about taxes? Who's paying taxes? You understand? All those things, I can find it in this thing. You see that here? For example, another example, privacy. If I want to know about my data, what is Apple doing with my data? They're saying, your use or service is subject to Apple's privacy policy, which is available at, so I need to go there. So do not read the whole terms of condition. It doesn't work. Yeah, just if you look at it, just go with a specific goal. I'm looking for this. Sometimes you see some people, they look at the terms and conditions and be like, I'm not going to read it. I just accept it. It's going to be okay. I trust them. At the end of the day, when something come up or they do not agree with something, they'll be like, hey, I never accept that. You understand what I mean? So terms of condition, go there with a specific goal. Yeah. If something happened, look at the terms of condition. What can you do and what you cannot do? There will be some situation that you want to challenge the multinational. I'm not saying it's a lost cause. I'm not saying nobody will take it. I'm saying think twice before you do it, because you do not want to lose a lot of money. While for them, a lawsuit is a lawsuit. But you can also look at the other way. When you have multinational, they do not want to have bad media attention. If you do not have the resources, go talk with a journalist. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just saying. When you talk with a journalist, maybe something good can happen for you, but it can be something bad for the company. Hopefully you understand what I mean. It's not an advice. And by the way, this whole video is not an advice. This whole video is just show you on how to. How you use it is your problem. If you want advice, you can hire, but if you don't want advice, do it yourself, right? Okay, so like I said, if you look at terms and condition, look how you can use it. So if you see here, talk about Apple, terms of condition. If you look at the title, subtitle, doesn't matter how you call it, using our services, payments, tax, refund. So you see here, when I was reading out to all these things, the terms of condition, I highlight some things. Doesn't mean it's important for you, but for me it's just, okay, this is something I need to watch out for. I give them, for example, if you look at the terms of condition, when you highlight some things, give them color. Red, important. Green, something can help me. Orange, I do not know what to do with it. Yeah, that's how I do it sometimes. Sometimes I just do random color because I have in my notes, okay, this color means this, that color means that. That's also how you can do that. Yeah, you can just go to the website, download the PDF, and then you have the terms of condition. Or before accepting a terms of condition, you save the PDF for the next time you can read it. Yeah, and that's not wrong with accepting a PDF, a terms of condition, when you do not understand how it works. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people do that. But the question is, when something goes wrong, how do you handle the situation? Do you use the terms? Do you use your right? Most people do not most people do not use their right. Most people are afraid to use the term. Most people are also afraid to take action. Are you one of those people? I'm just saying. So if you look at this, you see here this is Skype all services, and what kind of services Apple are providing. Interesting, not interesting for you right now, but when I look at some terms, I will try next time when I do this, I will try to do it live, look at the terms and then explain what it means with certain kind of sentences. Yeah, because the thing is, review the whole terms. It's how do you call it? It's sometimes difficult because you. Let me see if I can give you an example why it's difficult. I need to get a clear topic. Yeah. No, this is normal. Let's see. Okay. You see here, Apple has this thing called family sharing. Yeah. And let's say I have 8 brothers. 8 brothers too much. Let's say 8 siblings. We are with 8 people. So, and I want to share my Apple account with them. I'm allowed to do that. Let's look at it. The organization of a family organized. So what they're saying is, you have one person take care of the account. Yeah. So let's say I'm the oldest one, and I'm the person. Must be 18 years or older, and the parent or legal guardian of any family member on the age 13. So what they're saying is the organizer needs to be 18 years older, and yeah, they're not saying and or parents or legal guardian. So if I have a sibling under 13, someone needs to be the legal guardian of the person when they are using their account. See that here? They explain that here. Or the equivalent minimum age in their home country. Yeah, you see here, like I said at the beginning, the home country is really important. As I said forth in the registration process, Apple devices are required for access to all of the family sharing features. So if you do have family sharing features, I never use that. You need to meet the requirement. If you do not meet this requirement, you cannot get one. But most of the time, people lie about their age and they let people use it. Let me give you an example. I have a sister. She has an iPad. She uses just her, let's say, her account and share it with, I think it was 12 years old daughter. So it doesn't meet the requirements. Yeah. So when you look at this, if they sell product or services, they name it. And most time, the naming of the service, you will find it here in the terms of condition. So when you see something about family sharing, or if you have a problem with family sharing, you just go look here first. This is the specific part. And if something is not clear here, you go look in the rest of the document. You understand what I mean? And that's technically how it works. It's that simple. Just look at the book. When you look at the book, you know you need to look at a specific thing first, and then go to general. General is just to teach you how it works, and then you go to specific. If you want to learn how it works, you go to the general, read the general, understand the general, and then look to specific. It's the same as you want to become a doctor. When you want to become a doctor, you need to learn all the general things, and then you can specialize in something. That's how the books also work. But in this case, you're not here to learn something. You're here to look for the rules. So you look for the specific things. If you cannot find it, then you look at the general things. Hopefully you understand what I mean. If you want to waste your time and try to study the whole terms of condition, be my guest and read everything. But if you want to be smart and you don't have enough time, just Control F. You will get a lot. It can help you a lot. Yeah. So look at in the terms of condition. Yeah. So hopefully this part about family sharing can explain to you what I mean by that. That when you look at the terms of condition, look for specific things because you are looking for specific things. Do not read the whole thing. It's a waste of your time. Yeah. So when I was reading the whole thing, I was just scanning how Apple made it, because sometimes when I create terms of condition for other people, it takes a lot of times, but you need to understand the whole company in order to create terms of condition. But you also need to understand that when they provide certain kind of services, what can go wrong and what did go well, and how can you implement that in the terms of condition. Hopefully you understand what I mean. Yeah. Do you also see right now, and hopefully you can see that when you have terms of condition, if you do not update it, there's something wrong with your company. Because look at this. If something goes well, I can use that process in my terms of condition for new clients. If I'm Apple and something goes well, I can use that in my contract in my terms of condition for new clients, right? If something goes wrong, I need to put some things in my terms of condition to prevent some things from going wrong, right? A year had 365 days, 2 years more. During that period, a lot of things change. Rules change, people change, things in the company can go wrong. If you do not implement things in your terms of condition, ask yourself, is it the correct terms of condition? If your terms of condition is like 4 years, 5 years old, is it the correct terms of condition? Hopefully you understand what I mean. So if you have a company and your terms of condition is like 5 years old or 6 years old, 4 years old, you have a problem. I'm just saying, you have a problem. But if you see a company with a 4 or 5 years old terms of condition, just send them an email. Hey, do you have an up-to-date terms of condition? They're going to be embarrassed. Yeah, just send them an email. Do you have up-to-date terms of condition? Just remember, 2 years is the normal, but sometimes some company has a really old one. I think I saw one from 2018, but I'm not sure. But 2018 is still okay. But 2016 and below, no go. Yeah. So this is term condition of Apple. Like I said, I will try to help you guys how it works. What I really don't like when you have a term of condition is if you don't have an index. If you guys understand what I mean, it's just like an index is something that can tell you where can you find certain kind of rules. A company that does that really well, I think it was Fiverr. Fiverr's term of condition of Vimeo. They do that really well. I had to review Vimeo and another one, Fiverr, in order to advise someone about that. But give me 1 second. I press something and it crashed. Interesting. Yeah, I think it should be okay right now. No, I pressed something and something crashed. The program. Sorry about that. But yeah, so you see here, term of condition can be really important. Try to think about it, how you can use it to get your own benefits. And when you look at these things, like things in terms of condition, just look them up. The thing is, I already read this one and put some highlights into it. It's going to be hard for me to read again and tell you what you can do and what you cannot do. But in the next video, in the next review, I will look at the blank one. I will not review it, I just read it and I'll tell you how it works. But for me, what's right now really important to show you this process that when you have terms of condition, give me 1 second. So when you have term of conditions, technically, as soon as you accept it, you have a contract with the company. Yeah. And here you have a contract with Apple, but just remember, Apple is also a company. So this Apple is company and they own this. So technically, you have a contract with Apple company. Yeah. And one more thing, as you can see, hopefully I can show you. Here, if you talk about membership, you can also find those rules here and here. You see here, definition of apples. So if you look at the company in different kind of country, they have different kind of names or address, and here you see the definition of Apple. Depend on your home country, Apple means, and then you find the rules here. See that? And the reason why they do this is because certain kind of local company acquire them to put certain kind of let's say things in the name or when they name themselves. That's why it's different for every country. Yeah. And then if you talk about intellectual property, you see the intellectual property here. And intellectual property, what is that? Think about copyright, trademark, patent, and all those things. If you use the Apple, let's say, logo or Apple products, pictures of Apple products, you need to meet the requirements of the intellectual property. And what are the requirements of the intellectual property? You find it here under the section, intellectual property. If you read the whole document and then you come here to intellectual property of copyright, you're doing something wrong. Gonna waste all your time. Or they say copyright, sometimes you need to look at other things about copyright. If you're a developer, sometimes you need some things that you need in order to create your app, or sometimes you need to look at the license that you're allowed to use in order to create your app. Most of those things you can find it also here, yeah, on the section copyright. And termination, when you want to, yeah, let's say terminate your account, or you don't want to terminate the contact that you have with Apple, here you find all those rules about that. Disclaimers. Oh yeah, by the way, it doesn't matter if you have this in capital or what. Okay, it's just what important is what they wrote here. That's important. It's not, doesn't matter if it's in capital or not. Yeah, they just want to highlight the disclaimer, so when you go after them, this is just a warning. So don't pay too much attention on that. Pay attention on the content. So, and see, let me see what we have in here. Government law. Oh, this is so important, huh? A lot of people do not understand how important that is. Because if you play the legal game, give me 1 second. Yeah. Sorry about that. Receive a message, but yeah. If you play the legal game, and what I mean by legal game, when you challenge someone for to the court or something, you can block them by going to the court in a lot of ways. And most of the time, it will come down to this: the government law, governing law. And for example, let me give you one example. It doesn't mean it apply here, but it can apply in some situation. Let's say, forget about everything right now. Forget about the rules. Let's say you're from the US and I'm from the UK, right? And we make an agreement, and we put in an agreement when we have a problem with each other, the law of the US apply. So the governing law for this contract is US. That means if I have a problem with you and I want to go to court, I need to look at the rules of the US and then see where do I need to go to the court. Same apply for vice versa. So if it's the other way around, if the UK, then you need to look at ways how you can challenge me to the court in the UK. But if you do not know how it works, or if you do not know anything about the country, it's going to be difficult for you. You're going to give up before going to the court. You understand what I mean? And that's why this is really important. So governing law is really important, especially when you want to challenge someone. So when you look at the contract, first thing what I always do is look at the governing law. Okay, which law apply, because then I can look what the options are. But it doesn't mean, what you need to keep in mind, it doesn't matter what you agree, that applies in most cases, but sometimes the law will force you to go to certain country. And that's why you need to look at the international law for civilians. Yeah? So this is okay. When you have a contract, look at it. But most of the time they will follow the law. But sometimes they don't, because you both agree that you will go to this country's law. So this is the important part, because even if you're right, you cannot get your rights because you do not know how the law there work. You understand what I mean? You need to pay a lot of money just to get to know how it works and in order to take action. So when you create something, when you accept something, just look at the governing law first. And if you look at multinational, they need to respect the local law. And most of the time they say, especially when we talk about consumers, the local law apply. You understand? But if you look at my story before, you were like, okay, if the local law apply, I do not need to worry about what Apple put in the governing law. No, you need to worry. Just look at it and see how you can use it and how you cannot use it. Sometimes it's valid, sometimes it's not valid. Yeah. So every situation is different. It's not like if you put it in this situation, it applied. Doesn't work like that. Yeah. And just remember, when you read something in here, rules, law, rights, all of those things are language. The language how you create in terms of condition is really important. If you create it really simple just for consumer, it's okay. But the way how you describe situation, the way how you describe how you handle situation, depends how you describe it. Because if you have a general word while you mean a specific word, it can bring you a problem or maybe not. So when you create something or when you update your terms of condition, talk about your lawyer about the problem that you are having the last couple of months, or the success that you are having the couple of months, and what you want to see put into the process of providing your services, of handling customers. When you do that, it's going to save you a lot of time, and you already have that on paper, and they agree upon that. So hopefully this gives you an example how the terms of condition work. I talk a lot, sorry about that. Here, see, 12 pages. Yeah. So I talk a lot, and if you have questions, you can put it in a comment. I will try to read it as soon as possible. Hopefully you understand what it is. The highlights of this video or this live stream will go on YouTube, so you can put on YouTube your question, or you can go on Discord and ask me question. Next time I'll try to install the bot for this, so you can ask question, and I can see it. Yeah, and not everything is ready, so I'm trying to fix everything step by step. So let me put this back. Yeah, so we talk about terms of condition of Apple. Next time we will talk more about Amazon and other stuff. I think it's going to be Amazon. The reason why I'm doing that is because Amazon has a lot of terms of condition, and it's really big, and the way how they play the game is really nice, so that's why I'm going to do that. If you have question about this, put it in the comments or ask me directly on Discord. And for YouTube fans, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be